Good morning, and thank you for joining us here this morning. It's a great honor to be part of today's rededication ceremony to reflect on the tragic events of September 11th, 2001, and to express my love and faith in our military and public safety, to honor the nearly 3,000 people that died, and to celebrate our reclaimed unity that followed 9/11. I thank the 9/11 Rededication Committee for putting on this event where we can honor together as a community. What is in a greeting? Is it appropriate to start off with good morning on a day like today? The more I thought about it, the more I decided it is a proper greeting. Good morning is defined as a polite greeting of well wishes or a farewell that you say to someone in the early hours of the day, an easy yet profound way to connect with others. I imagine this simple phrase was more than likely exchanged many times on the morning of September 11th, 2001, hours before the series of deliberate terrorist attacks on our country. I was living in Florida on September 11th, 2001, and I remember the first words out of my mouth were good morning that I said to my cousin a little after 9 a.m. Eastern Time when he called to tell me about the first attack. Like many, I was in the middle of my morning routine, getting ready for work. I immediately turned on my TV and watched in disbelief. I could not wrap my head around what it all meant. At work was where I witnessed on the news the South Tower come down. Even though I was seeing it with my own eyes, I was still in disbelief, overwhelmed with confusion and shock. Then they started grounding airplanes and closing airports, and that's when it started to sink in. America has been attacked on our very own soil. I remember, and I will never forget. Today, nearly 2 decades later, Americans all over the country gather to collectively remember September 11th, 2001. Each of us with our own stories, recounting details of where we were, what we were doing, and who we were with. Some details becoming lost or embellished over the years, but the details of how we felt remain with us. Because whatever we were doing, whoever we were with, and wherever we were, even if we weren't there in person, serves as the link between our own history and being part of history. We share our own stories because it's our responsibility to remember in order to fulfill a moral commitment to the past, reflect on how we identify as Americans in the present, and help shape the generations of our future. This year will mark the first year in which the graduating high school seniors were born post 9/11, meaning a whole generation of Americans do not know what it was like to live in the United States of America prior to the horrible attacks of 9/11 and learned about the tragedies in a history class. We must never forget. Today, we are reminded of our country's vulnerability, how easy we take our liberties and protections for granted, and how quickly we can endure loss. But we are also reminded of how we can summon strength to carry on, inspire younger generations, and remember that there is nothing that the United States of America cannot overcome. Although the terrorist acts were intended to bring fear to our country and send us into a chaos of weakness, mistrust, and hate, they failed. Instead, our country united, rose to the occasion, unafraid, and a renewed strength of resolve to survive, trust, love, and connect with one another through acts of service and kindness, exchanging good mornings and well wishes, volunteering for community service, and uniting at ceremonies like we are here today. We remember and we celebrate our reclaimed unity so that the efforts of the many heroes that sacrificed their lives for others on September 11th, 2001 are not in vain or forgotten. In the spirit of that remembrance, it is my honor to proclaim today, September 11th, 2019, as 9/11 Rededication Ceremony and Remembrance Day in Lake Havasu City. Whereas people of all ages and walks of life across America and around the world collectively shared in witnessing an event of immense tragedy on September 11th, 2001. And whereas on its anniversary, we unite again in our resolve for justice and peace, vowing to always remember and to never forget. Whereas the horrible terrorist acts of that day instantly transformed the lives of many through an unfamiliar sense of individual and national vulnerability. And whereas brave men and women heroically, tirelessly, and courageously participated an extraordinarily difficult and dangerous rescue and recovery effort, in some cases voluntarily putting their own well-being at risk. And now, therefore, I, Cal Sheehy, Mayor of Lake Havasu City, Arizona, do hereby proclaim September 11, 2019 as 9/11 Rededication Ceremony and Remembrance Day in Lake Havasu City, Arizona, in tribute to all of the victims of 9/11 and the many who rose in service in response to the 9/11 terrorist attacks. So once again, I say good morning. Thank you all for being here. We will always remember, and we will never forget. And we will always move forward as a great nation. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountain majesties above the fruited plain. America, America.